yeah. Have you forged any of those sneakers?
Yeah, dude. The Demons, the Genesis, and the Drips. How about you?
Fire. Yeah. I did the drips. I was thinking about grabbing a couple more before this Forge ends, but just haven't really made a decision on it yet, honestly, because they look so dope and I want to wear them. But like the way I'm thinking about it is, they're probably never gonna touch my fucking feet. I'm just gonna keep them locked away, you know. So
Yeah, that's fair, man. I'm a little sick, so I'm gonna do my best to power through. But yeah, like we are 100% gonna push forward an effort to have the Genesis pair customized through Johnny Kick's network to turn the red lime green on them presto, and we're gonna push that lime energy real forward, and kind of make that statement too.
I like that lime gang, huh?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
We
Lime
gotta
Gang
have a
is the
couple yellow
OG.
ones for the lemons in the crew, like myself.
We ain't forging no lemon. Honro might slap me if I forged a lemon pair of Genesis, bro.
Yeah, that'd be
But yeah,
sick to push, dude. I'm gonna support that for sure. Do you think that they've already manufactured them though? Because like we seen LeBron wearing them and shit. So
oh no, dude, we're not gonna get the shoes for the Genesis for like another 6 months or something. So like between now and then, we'll work with suppliers, customizers to like lock in the materials, figure out the cost, get some Photoshop edits out. And it's like, if you got a pair of Genesis kicks though, and you want to turn them live, we'll have a route to make that happen. I just hopefully it's budget friendly. I got to figure that part of it out still.
yeah, that sounds pretty fire. I would definitely rock a Lime Gang pair for sure.
I mean, how fun would it be? So like, dude, if you want to have that option open, forge a pair of Genesis just to keep that door there, I guess. Because yeah, dude, we want to go lime on the everything that's red, turn it lime, basically. Maybe drop a Clonespiracy logo on part of it if we can figure out a way to like loop it in well. Dude, I'm totally sick still. I'm trying trying to power through this thing, man. It's brutal sometimes. But yeah, we want to drop some IYKYKs on there because like, dude, it's a reference to Lime Gang. It's a reference to Clonespiracy. It's a reference to Clone, the hope, the dreams, the people who Artifact come from. Like that's what it's all about. To customize a pair of season 1. Like, dude, wild. I'm not even.
You know what would be fire?
Myself.
You could drop your Clonespiracy logo, like you know how it says CloneX on the heel. You could just put your logo right where the O is, and then for an example, or you could just have like the whole Clonespiracy there rather than CloneX. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Currently, I'm thinking like an IYKYK because it's way shorter than Clonespiracy, and then like get the logo on there somewhere, which I think it's gonna be a polished, clean look that like the best of the best customizers on the scene will hopefully produce. So it's like I've talked with Johnny. He's in, and like that goes for anyone. Like if anyone in this ecosystem wants their kicks customed by Johnny, you just got to hit him up, really. And I mean, he'll work with you on it. But I figure, if we can batch order this thing and lock our pricing in, lock our manufacturing in, pay the customizers, like do it proper, I think that we could just have a really cool end result.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fire, bro. I'm rooting for that for sure. That's Johnny. What's his profile so I could go and follow him?
Yeah, Johnny Kicks. I'll try and pick something from him.
All right. I'm trying to find him right now.
Yeah, Johnny X _ NFT.
Is it JOHNN?
Yep.
Oh, I found him. Oh yeah, I already follow him. Sick.
Sweet. Yeah, dude. Let me just give a shout out to Chill Wales real quick because Presto is the chillest of whales. He's whipping up some cool stuff. And honestly, Presto, if you want to talk about chill whales, I'm all for it. We got an intimate group here, but I know everyone listening should be excited about chill whales.
I appreciate you, fam. Yeah, I'm just trying to whip up some cool digital identities on Luxo. I know we got a couple of people pretty hip to Luxo here. I know Compound Tip. I've seen his tweets. Um, I'm hoping that you know, people come and score these digital identities, and like I'm having this real contemplation. I'm trying to build this like with my community, and I kind of just want to launch them for free, just so like people could get them and they don't have to worry about paying for shit. You know, gas is already going to be free and subsidized as well. So I don't know. I'm just thinking of a bunch of ideas. I know that mainnet's around the corner, but universal profiles will take like a month after that. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but I'm thinking, you know, right whenever I'll be able to launch these, just to give them out, and I want to see you know, people vibing. Hopefully, do you like the art so far?
Yeah, dude, of course. They're a bunch of whales chilling. You got elementals, you got hoodies, you got caps, you got tattoos. Yes, dude, I think it's sick. If you wanna make some like dedicated Lime Gang looking thing, I wouldn't be opposed to a dope trait, sir.
How about this? How about you shoot me a couple trade ideas you got, and I'll definitely make them happen for you. I'm actually at, I think I have 250 traits now, and I'm just running through them. I'm not going to use all of them. I'm probably going to throw out, you know, whichever ones I think don't work. But whatever the community wants, I'll definitely push out for it. That's like what I've been hoping for. I just haven't really done any marketing. It's not really like my forte. I don't know what to do in that area. So I'm hoping the community just thinks of some cool shit as well, and then I could whip it up for you guys.
Definitely, Presto. Appreciate that, man. Gem, we gotta cook up some dope chill whale traits. We can maybe do that at some point here on a plane at an airport when we chilling like whales, future whales on a beach, beached whales.
You
I'm
know,
gonna
the
use my
real
whole
whales are
talking
always
pop.
chilling. So
I thought I was gonna be a Pepe whale, Presto. That didn't work.
fucking Pepe, eh? That shit was wild, dude. How about you want to hear a crazy ass story? I've been throwing like point 0.2, point 0.3 into shit coins like every day just for the fuck of it, whatever I see and whatever I think is funny enough. And I bought this one called Poo like 2.5 weeks ago, probably a week ago, or I don't even know. I could find the date, but I literally threw like point 0.2 in there, and I looked at my wallet, and it was like 9.5 ETH. And I was like, what the fuck is this meme coin season about? And then I just started tracking like Pepe, and it literally came out at $0, and the shit went up to 2 billion. So if anybody in here got that, congratulations, hats off, and please secure your funds.
That's wild, Presto. I'm just managing some background things here, but I heard all that. That is epic. 1 second.
Yeah, shit coins, man. I lost on all the rest of them, but who did good for me? And God knows how much gas I spent. I also see a an old clone that I used to own right there, S4 Ardo. Fire pick, bro. Fire clone. Love that Lime Gang hoodie.
Well, it's funny too, Presto, because like I don't even know how much of today's clones even understand what the color lime is in this ecosystem, bro. And it's something I've always been kind of curious about. And like, do people get it? Do they get it? And like that's kind of one of those other, if you know references that's kind of baked in to the subculture, the sub community here.
Yeah, limes are like a way of life, you know. Sometimes we got some lemon shit. I'm like, I can't lie, I've been pretty lemony at times about clones, but I really like what you guys are doing here, and I like what Compound's doing with Bad Take and everything. And I don't know, you know, I think I'm back on the lime side. Might need to grab another fucking hoodie, eh?
Dude, I just heard Presto made 9 ETH in a shitcoin. That sounds like a clone shopping spree to me. I don't know about you guys, but tell me on Discord again. Like,
Yeah, dude, fucking shit coins, man. And it's, you know what's crazy if you think about it? Like the coin's called Pooh, and it's literally Winnie the Pooh. So like, I don't even know how that's legal, or I don't even know why I invested in it, but I'm thankful enough to have pulled out the profit.
yeah, bro. Get this guy some clones. He was fudding clones for a year, but now we got some culture going on. We're getting Presto back. He said he minted like 30 clones or some crazy shit, right?
Yeah, it was. I had 9 items, and they all minted me 3. I had a bunch of pigeons and shit, and then I had a artifact brick. It was pretty cool because I think Mark Cuban owned a brick, and I really wanted one. But Benito told me that they weren't really doing shit with the bricks anymore, so I just sold it after the mint.
What's a brick, bro?
Look it up. They have a artifact brick. It was literally just the fucking box. It was like the weirdest looking thing ever. But I looked at the holders and it was like Mark Cuban and a couple other NFT whales, and I was like, oh, gotta have one of those, you know?
A lot of people speculate on like buying the mint disc and these bricks and like just other things that could potentially like just be historic. I mean, if you got the ETH to sit on for that long, like run it. But I kind of do want one of those actually.
Well, what's funny, dude, is one of the founders, it was either Zapper Clegg, said Mint Disc will have future utility. And like that's why the Mint Disc gonna make it like ripped. And that's why people were buying Mint Discs. And that's why everyone was talking about Mint Discs for a while there. And I think it's a meme at this point because they ain't done nothing. Who knows though?
Yo, we're talking about used mint discs or ones that didn't get used.
Mint dicks,
Yeah,
mint
dude.
dicks.
Mint Dicks. Used Mint
Mint
Dicks
disc.
like will have future utility. Apparently,
Oh
according
my
to
god!
Discord,
So
like
there's how many mint discs? Like 3,000 of them or something?
there's a lot of them, yeah.
Dude,
But I don't know.
I really think that they should sit down and go through all these NFTs that have reached a point where they should have utility, but they don't anymore, and have a full-blown burning session to trade for like the rest of the Animus eggs. Like people who are already in the ecosystem, they invested early, they have these, mint discs or these one-off artifact NFTs that never had like kind of utility, and you could burn them for an Animus egg, right? Because those things have been, I don't know. There's a lot of things like let's say the Trillium Lace engine, right? There's a lot of them that have reached a dead end. Um, and that would be a cool burn for an Animus egg or some shit like that. Or it would probably rub people a lot the wrong way, but like you could go through the collection and kind of find some things and make here, these are the qualifying NFTs that could get you Animus egg, and you have to burn them. Like, let's get these fucking things out of the ecosystem instead of letting people continue to speculate on them. Like, let's do a burning function and get, something that they understand is reached its end, and here's your reward for it. Just my thoughts.
I like that. That reminds me of like the G tags, how people are burning their old kicks and backpacks and whatever it is. I think that's a great idea, honestly, because there's a lot of shit and a lot of things that the founders said that would have utility, and like a lot of stuff that people, including myself, are still waiting on, and like it kind of just ends up being a disappointment. But there's definitely ways to make everything a net positive. So that's a badass idea, bro.
There's a lot of like, I mean, we could just name a few. There's the entire, okay, I don't think the entire season one unforged shit should probably get you an Animus egg, but there could be something really cool created where if you have all these leftover clothes, you could burn them and get, I don't know, even an option to burn everything to the post forge one so that you get that post forge. I don't know, dude. That's a dumb idea, but fuck. there's so many loose ends that really could be used to kind of reward the people who had these in their wallets for so long.
So have you guys like seen those weird tweets? It was like some Azuki guy that's like a super whale, and he was saying that Nike and Artifact have like a year left of like the acquiree together. Do you guys know anything about that, or have you heard anything? I don't even know what the guy's talking about, but
Yeah, that's probably Grail.eth. He's pretty upset about how he invested a ton of money in all Grails, and the Grail investment hasn't didn't pay off after the floor is going down so massively.
oh
And he
fuck.
wrote a thread about saying that the founders, once their contracts are done, they're out of here. Like they don't care about this, and it was all bullshit, dude. He was completely speculating, and just he harbors a lot of bitterness, dude, and you could sense it in his writing. That I think that's who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that is. He's like part of the Spirit DAO or whatever.
Yeah, so we've been dealing with the majority of the Azuki FUD that we've been dealing with has been coming and out of this Spirit DAO, bro. There was a point where there were a lot of profiles on the timeline who were specifically writing threads and posts about clones while rocking an Azuki PFP or rocking a Spirit DAO like a Spirit Azuki, and we have some Azukis and clones that kind of had our back as well and had to have chats with them, right? They've exited clones and now they're writing threads, fudding clones. It's such a weirdo energy, weirdo look, but can't stop anybody from freely writing. So we let them write and correct them where they're wrong.
Comp Ilan is also Spirit Down. I'm pretty sure he's also super pro clone. He definitely bridges that gap. So I don't want to give the
No,
impression.
no, that's what I said. I said we have Azukis in the community that have had our back, and he just joined Spirit DAO, and he's even said that he didn't like the route that Spirit about like they were taking, writing about clones when they have exited or don't have clones. But he's now in Spirit DAO. He just joined like this last month. So yeah, we have an advocate in there. We call him our mole. Like we're gonna hear what they're talking about in there. No, I'm just playing.
They're probably just fudding just so like they could scoop his clones again like really low, you know.
Well, a lot of people got wrecked on clones, bro, because these guys bought like grails. Like they spent a lot of money on clones. They got wrecked. They've now sold near the bottom, and they had to go buy these. They just had to because of their who they are. Like they went and bought the most expensive Azukis they can find, which are the Spirit Azukis. So they harbor a ton of hate, bro. Like some of that elite that one that we're talking about harbors a ton of hate towards clones for sure, and it's in his words. He's not shy about it.
Well,
It's
it's
all
kind of
right.
it's all, yeah. It's always interesting because like the financial side of this space is touchy, I guess, and like we've always tried to like avoid that, not necessarily avoid it, but try and discount the that piece of it and really focus on like what can this ecosystem become, how can these things tie together, and kind of looping back to that thought earlier, Comp. I love it, dude. I think we should be burning the loose ends of this ecosystem because those are just potential paths, potential threads to continue to go down, to explore, to think that they might do something. And it's just people putting offers on stuff, which again, if it goes nowhere, that leads to that bitterness. But if it goes somewhere, then it's like, yeah, we told you, kind of thing. But at the same time, it should be crystal clear. Like, if it's going to do something, put it in a pile that says it's going to do something. If it's not, if it's dead, if it's old, let us burn it to like reforge those materials into something else, that like a crafting system. Imagine that, Comp. We have a crafting system for old artifacts to recycle and reuse them, to then put that the hope and the power of that old item reinvested into something new. Dude, that would be a circular ecosystem, bro.
No, I agree, 100%. That would be cool as shit. There was a whole process behind it. I think clarity is good, but also people need to stop being fucking degens, and when they're getting wrecked, get all upset with that they got wrecked. If you're speculating on some shit that hasn't had any news or actual like information on it, you got to take some responsibility. But I understand the people who like saw a tweet that said this will have utility. I understand them speculating on a tweet like that. But if there hasn't been any news on anything and it's for sure, then you're just got to take responsibility for your speculation at that point. But I think I like the crafting idea. Like put these NFTs together, get this. Like that's dope. That's what I'm saying. Let's burn this old shit.
You know what would be sick? Like, honestly, and it's just something that Artifact is missing. We need the founders more active with the community, like you guys. Like, I know they interact. Like, sure, they'll comment and like shit, but like coming on to spaces and like hearing what you guys have to say, because like you guys are really a foundation if you think about it. Like, you guys are really putting in work and keeping a community together. So I mean, like that's something that Benito and Zap and fucking Clegg need to really take serious, because once they do that, and their heads are back with the community, then even the people who are fudding or the people who got wrecked, the degens, anybody who just wants to shop, even if they're in it for just profit, like they can see a solid roadmap, whatever the hell that means. Not even like an actual roadmap that's built of like broken promises. Just like they can see a future with a product if the founders are definitely like interacting with us, and that's something that in my opinion needs to be taken very seriously.
And that's why I'm
You know,
excited to become a chill whale, Presto, because you understand the relationship of a founder and a community and an ecosystem to push that shit forward, bro.
Hopefully my head
hey,
doesn't get too big.
Jack always has so much fucking energy. I love it, dude. And I feel bad for him. I feel bad that you're sick, bro.
You want me to
Um,
DoorDash you some soup, fam?
yo, send this man some soup.
Jem brought me soup, y'all. My mom brought me soup. I'm coughing my ass off every time I'm on mute, so it's all good.
Guys, I have a new pasta that we can spread. Benito just posted it. And it's actually an educational copy pasta, basically encouraging everybody to forge their Air Force Ones. I just posted it. I put it in a little group chat. Um, I don't know. It's important to let people who may not know that you need to forge these Air Force Ones. They're paid for. You need the gas money. You need to forge these things, because then we're stuck with another 1,000 NFTs that have lost all their utility because people decided not to forge, and we're back to the burning thing. So I just copy pasted Benito's post, and hopefully if we spread it across the timeline, people might see it. If y'all want to jump in, it's actually a really good little copy pasta. Um, Shout out Benito. He loves the pastas. What were we talking about?
I think Presto's gonna
Chicken noodle soup
DoorDash
or
me some.
something.
Oh, Presto's sending out ETH to Jack. Yeah, bro. Send some too. I heard you heard soup. I heard ETH. I mean, whatever.
Dude,
Presto. Here's the thing. I know what we were talking about. Dude, after the whole monolith thing, uh, the founders had like hits out on their head, bro. I'm sure they got so many crazy DMs. Like imagine like the hate. Like we saw the hate that the team was getting, so they probably went into this like, okay, shit, we need to buckle down. We need to switch up some communication. We need to switch some shit up and get things back on track. Start executing on these drops, and I think they've done a great job of executing. But we're getting to a point now. Um, where we had like a Bad Take live session in LA that CloneX LA and Bad Take put on, and Chris Lee came out and talked on it. So he probably went back, to the rest of the team and told them, hey, like these guys, they didn't ask no crazy questions, they didn't put me on the spot, they didn't like ask for alpha. And then we had Zaptio come on the creators account and do like a creator, like a background chat with us, and they invited me and Dre to host, because like I think if we're all building this like this environment where we're not just hounding the team for alpha or hounding them win this win that, or so they feel like they can come and chill and kick it, they're going to start coming out more. You're already seeing it, like they're coming out of that phase of hideout almost, or like buckle down and buckle down and execute phase and coming out into the let's kick it with the community phase. So it's all a process, dude, but it's really cool to see, honestly.
We did have Zap join us one evening. His famous quote is "The future is now." It was pretty man of few words, a sir of few words, and then we read him a bedtime thread. It was cute.
Yeah, and then the Japan Presto's gone. Oh, he's back. So when the Japan event, Dre, Snapback, and everybody in Cass and kind of went to them and was like, "Hey, we'd like to do a live stream of this," and that was all community. Like that was the community putting that on, and them jumping onto a community live stream, right? And kind of letting us use the official artifact channels and shit like that. So they're starting to kind of see the power of this live audio, these interviews, these panels, like all of these things all coming together. This they see the power of it, man. So you're right. I would love to see more of it as well, and it's dope to see like how far we've all come.
My bad, guys. I rugged for a sec, but yeah, for sure. I think they're doing a good job lately for sure with the drops and all that. Just the communication after the Monolith X, I remember they hopped on a Spaces and they said they'd be better with communication, and I mean, they have, to be fair, they can be doing a lot more. I mean, there's 3 founders, right? And Samuel, that guy's like the CTO or whatever. I know he's pretty active, but if any of them could just stop in and like hear what you guys are saying rather than have it relayed from, let's say like a Hondro or Al Patron, like it would just show more confidence for the holders. You know what I'm saying?
Completely, dude.
Yeah,
I
bro.
mean, yeah, it's just a relationship thing with the community, I think. But at the same time, it's like they want to keep pushing this dream, which is good, and it's needed, to have a strong vision at the wheel, but still, like communicate the vision, let the people who are here on the ground know that like you care. Like I think it's a great statement, bro. No, I'm holding you to that too, as Chill Wales becomes the chillest of whales 5-10 years from now. I'm gonna be like, bro, get your ass in this space. You said you'll be like, damn it, Jack, why are you still telling me this? I know what I said.
I'll be around, bro. My phone is in my hand probably all fucking day. So, like, anytime you don't get a response from me or anybody doesn't, I'm literally just dodging.
Yo, Presto just called me on Discord like we were homies for life or some shit, bro. Just I'm gonna call Compound. I was my computer was my dumbass had my computer on full blast sound because I was trying to turn the brightness up and I accidentally hit the sound and I forgot to turn it back down. So I'm sitting there and the Discord ringer is annoying, bro. I was like, what the fuck is that? Presto, bro. He's trying to buy more clones. That's for sure why he called me. He's doubling down on clones. Um, he got one the other day, and he's looking for 2 more. So if anybody's selling clones, hit up Presto, DM him. He's stacking, baby. He's stacking.
Fuck it.
Just
You know what? Honestly, if anybody's got a clean human, guy's got to be clean, though. No green hair bullshit like that. Give me some black or brown hair. I'll
He's
buy them
looking.
right now.
He's looking for a Yugi hair.
Yugi hair, preferably with the red in it, like the Super Saiyan God Goku.
Yeah, bro. I wish anybody had one of those. I want one of those.
with the Patara earring too. We got to just get him the pure Grail.
Wait,
Give me a
there's an
Patara
earring that's a
earring with the
grail.
Scouter, yo.
Yeah, they have the
Yo,
Patara earring that like fuses the Kais of Dragon Ball Z. Give him a Scouter, a Yugi hair. He is Super Saiyan Yugi soon enough.
somebody I got that new Yugi that I got both by Lelo and Clue like hit me up for the files. Like I guess they have never done like Yugi edits. And so I sent them both the files, dudes. And these guys, bro. Like I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with that Yugi. I got that dude on the floor, like peak FUD, bro. Everybody's like capitulating, and I see that Yugi dead on the floor, and I'm like, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I weath offered all this artifact stuff, dude. The Murakami blade, the dunks. I weath offered a bunch of other side shit to get that thing. Took in L's on those, man. Don't take weath offers because of FOMO, unless it's a red hair Yugi on the floor. Okay, Presto.
I'm scared of Weath offers, man. They still take that 10% royalty and shit, don't they? Plus gas right now? Fuck me. I ain't doing none of that.
Oh, I got wrecked on everything, bro. I took at least a 15% haircut on all those weath offers. Probably more. I don't want to even look at it.
Let's just call it 10 so you don't have to think about it too deep, 10% ain't bad.
No, yeah, dude. You know what? That fits my narrative better. I appreciate that, actually. Yeah, that's better. If anybody in here is not forging their Air Force Ones, y'all are crazy. Make sure you forge your Air Force Ones.
What's next? Aren't we getting those crypto kicks soon?
I think the Dragon is dropping.
Because I forged a couple of those and I want them.
No, it's the Crypto Kicks IRL, right?
Yeah, I got the what color? I think it was like the dust pair, and then I got that galaxy blue pair.
You didn't get the blackouts?
No, I didn't really fuck with those, to be honest.
No, bro. Are you size 11?
I am size 11. You got a pair?
I got 3 pairs, bro. Go look at them. You're gonna like them. You look at them again. I'll send you a picture of them IRL. You're gonna really like them. You liking these will help me sell one to you. So make sure you really like these things for me.
But
All right,
only
let
make the
me just go to my psychic really quick and have them instill it in my head that I love those.
They're all
Press-
black. How do you not like them, bro? They're the best ones.
be sure to Weath offer them too, Presto.
I'm scared of black shoes, bro. Like, black forces. If anybody's wearing those around you, just get the fuck away from that, man, So
There's
like the all black in real life, they kind of scare me too.
There's a picture of Zap and Chris in Japan, and I think Zap's wearing the undeads, and Chris is wearing the blackouts, dude. They look so good, and I've seen them in real life too. I've seen him wear them in real life, so yeah, they look good. I'll find the picture, guys. Help me find the picture so I can dump my bags on Presto. I'm gonna look real quick. I'll take 3 of these. I got 3 of them, bro. I was just gonna forge them regardless. But I kind of want to trade for an Air Force One. I'll throw some ETH on top if I can find somebody who wants to trade.
I feel like the crypto kicks will do better, to be honest. Like in a resale, like in real life.
Oh, I don't know enough about it. That's not my specialty. It's almost like if I start talking, if I start talking about that, I'll fucking say some stupid shit. But I like them both. I didn't even think I would like the Crypto Kicks IRL until I started talking to Dre, and we started going deeper into the actual technology that's in it. Then I was like, you know what? I could actually fuck with these. I could not convince my girl to get a pair. I've yet to meet a female who is excited for him. Like Shauna and Dre's wife just hate him, bro. They won't even touch him. I don't know if you guys have any other experience. Did Jem get any?
What about Anya? Raise your hand if you got a pair.
Anya didn't even forge the hoodie, bro. I know she didn't get those.
I think I forged so many hoodies that it'd probably be worth a clone right now.
You have them all there still?
Yeah, I gave one to my girl. I gave one to my little brother. And I got the rest of them locked up with 2 open, 2 size larges open, just in case one is dirty, I could rock the other.
Yup.
But, yeah.
I had 3. I had an XL, a large, and then another XL that I sold. That was actually part of the process of me getting this clone as I sold the hoodie. I traded the hoodie for some other side, things to Mr. J, and then I ended up selling the other side things for a clone. So kind of all ties together. Let me find that picture.
Well, you're finding that comp. I want to open it up to the people down below if you're listening. If you want to jump up on stage, this is a non-recorded, safe place. Come on up, ask your questions. There's literally no such thing as a dumb question, except asking if there's a dumb question. That might be the only actual dumb question, if I was to pick one. But we don't need to really call anybody out who likes to say, I don't mean to ask a dumb question, but yeah, anyway, if you want to come up and ask, not a dumb question, feel free to come on up. Really, any question would qualify as not a dumb question, except for the previously mentioned dumb question.
You're my new best friend, bro. Let's just leave it at that, Just keep that vibe going. I fuck with it.
Presto, click that picture at the top and then look at Chris's shoes. They look fucking good, bro.
Yeah, those black shoes fuck for sure. I can't lie. The ones on the left are the in real lives. Those are the blackouts.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying.
They do fuck.
Yeah, they look good when they'll go together with like an outfit, dude. They look hard.
But like, would you be scared of me if you seen a man walk in like any store or like anywhere in public with those?
No, unless that's your goal, then yeah, I guess.
No, it's not my goal. But like
No,
black Air Forces just do that to me, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just feeling like a black in real life crypto kick vibe might actually like fit that scene too.
No, these look like different. These ones actually, I feel like these are gonna grab more attention than some of the other ones. But what do I know, dude? I usually like
Bro, why
white
are you
shoes,
dropping
bro.
black hearts, fam? Do you rock black Air Forces, bro?
I got the Genesis coming. Shout out Baron. I actually wasn't gonna get the Genesis, and fucking our boy Baron said check your wallet one day, and I was shook.
Bro,
Ain't no
Baron
such
has
thing as
the
halfway
sickest
crooks.
clone out here. Baron, if you're hearing me, I want that clone.
All my Nikes are black.
Price, fam.
I only wear navy blue Air Forces because your feet disappear at night.
That's fair, bro. Curl, what's the deal? Why is your profile pic a beanie though? What happened to the orange clone?
Psyops, bro. That's how he's gotten in all the bean chats. They got him into all the Azuki chats. He's able to like post about clones, and then people look and they see, oh, it's a bean posting about clones. Like, let me check this out. It's like the ultimate psyops. He's our mole in the bean chat.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting is like once they realize, like anyone realizes that there's a whole bunch of shit you can do with the clones, and it's not just a pretty profile picture. It becomes very enticing.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure. Like, I have in real life.
I think it's all about that. Because Presto, dude, I cannot hear you. By the way, you were talking earlier to Compound, and I could only hear Compound talking. And I just kind of like played along like I knew what you guys were talking about, but I could only hear Compound side. So I don't know what's going on, man, if it's me or you, bro.
You got to drop down, Presto. He'll bring you back up. Just re-request. It'll reset everything.
How do I drop? Do I just leave?
No, click the three dots at the top. Go to switch to listening. And then just send a request back up. It should unrug Jack. But he's the host. He can't do nothing.
It's always fun to talk to Presto, too, because I always, like, message him and tweet at him and comment and stuff, but we rarely get to talk, so it's kind of chill.
He called, bro, and he was like, asking me all these crazy questions. And I was like, bro, how'd you get my number? And he's like, I called you through Discord. I was like, I don't even know you, but I like you. And then he said, were there any spaces? I'm like, yeah, in 1 minute we're going into Clonespiracys. And he goes, oh shit, I'll see you in there. So we hung up the phone and we jumped in here.
That basically sums it up. I was bored and I was like, you know what? Who should I call on my Discord friends list really quick? Let me just shoot Compound a call, I'm sorry if I was asking some personal questions. It just happens sometimes. I'm a very curious person.
Yeah, he knows my birthday now. He knows everything about me.
Did he lead with, what's your seed phrase?
It was something along the lines of that.
Oh yeah, and I'm not a scammer for sure.
I think the first time he was messaging me on Discord, I had to check if he was a scammer. I can't remember. No, maybe that was someone else. Random Discord messages always scare me, but I accept them all.
I wanted to
You
say
are much braver than I am because I keep all of my Discord DMs and friend requests in the shadowy corner of the whatever the red number is of missed notifications that I have in Discord. I don't get to any of them, so that's very daring of you.
Life's more fun when it's risky on you, you know? Sometimes you just gotta chat with the scammers. Like one time, some guy was trying to scam one of my NFTs, and I told him I didn't have enough gas money to do the trade on his little makeup NFT trader site. So I got the guy to send me 0.05, and then I started cussing him out and calling him a scammer, and it was probably one of the best times of my life in this space. I can't even lie.
Did you then invest that into PooCoin?
I did exactly do that, and PooCoin made me a nice little number, you know? Sometimes we got to be like cool with scammers.
You have to tell me though, is that actually a coin or are you guys just making it up for the purpose of this conversation?
It's a real coin, and Winnie the Pooh is the face of it. It's pretty fire. I think Disney's actually behind it.
Oh no.
It's a literal shitcoin on you.
No, if it was a shitcoin, it would be called a shitcoin and not a PooCoin. I know this space well enough. The memes take over.
I feel like you guys should make a Lime Gang coin and just pump that shit to like 10 million.
Yeah, I feel like that would be immediately node, considering that all of the co-creators of the Lime Gang movement are now official team members. So probably not.
So how does this whole so Luxo is working now? Like you can use it?
It's not working yet. It's on testnet still, Kuro. So we got 2 weeks or so until that mainnet happens, but lots of time. But Presto is building a Chill Whales project over there, so we talked about that briefly, because just a chill dude who's looking to push some fun vibes.
No, I like that. No, that's why I was checking out, because I was like, ETH is kind of crowded. So I have to ask, like, do you think it's worth it? Is there enough people on Luxo that buy JPEGs?
You got to think about it like this, right? Think about it literally just like this. The guy who invented ERC20, which basically made Ethereum what it is today, there's actually a BRC20 now on Bitcoin. He's the guy who made Luxo, right? And his purpose of making Luxo was to make digital identities and to make NFT 2.0. So I knew about NFTs before NFTs were even like a thing because of Luxo. I got into that coin in like fucking August 2020. The guy's a savage, bro. Like, he's the actual GOAT of all coders in my mind. And like, there's no way that when mainnet comes around that the unique holders doesn't just double, triple, quadruple, or whatever the fuck. It's at like 15K holders right now. So I'd say yeah, there will definitely be people to buy JPEGs and other types of digital assets and collectibles.
So I know Hemi's been just waiting for a year plus for the day that someone says Luxo on this stage. And there's not a ton of other artifact-related things immediately present. So let me just say, we try and keep it artifact without floors. We kind of blurred some lines. We're even on a new chain currently. It's a little bit of a chill spaces, kind of just relaxing and hanging out. But make sure you forge your Season 1 Air Force Ones. If you haven't, they pushed the deadline. Dot Swoosh is doing the mint next week. Okay, I got the first couple of bigger Nike artifact related things.
What I've noticed, between Luxo and Artifact, I really, really just like long time frames for drops. I just like waiting. That's why I'm here.
If you guys want to keep it artifacts and clone related, that Dot Swoosh guy is that guy who's like I think he's like the head coordinator or whatever. This guy is fucking talking about universal profiles, and Artifact and Luxo already have a relationship. I actually got my first Artifact NFT from Luxo. And like,
now that's conspiracy theories 101. That's what we're here for. Clonespiracies. Now we're talking.
If you guys want some Clonespiracy, I think that Samuel just does some super goat shit and he moves the whole clone collection to Luxo.
No. I don't trust Vitalik, but no. I don't like anything you're saying. Everything you're saying, no.
Wait, Kira,
Why would we
you
go
don't want...
from the chain with the most volume to the chain that doesn't even work yet?
Ask yourself why this chain has all this volume, and then figure out that question, right, Kiro? And then make those conspiracies yourself.
Kiro, you're bridging your clone to Luxo, and you're going to like it, bud.
Or you could stay on ETH and just go to 0.
Absolutely not. I'd rather go to 0. And that's like, listen, man. This is why I sold the D-Gods that I had, okay? And I still haven't bought back. I'm not sure yet.
What's your favorite thing about Luxo, Kuro?
That I sold at $12.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Man doesn't even know what he's talking about. So until then, baby, ETH to the moon.
I just care about the price, bro, and the liquidity here. Okay.
Do you like paying gas or do you like not paying gas?
I don't care either way, bro.
Sheesh, man. Can I have like $100,000 real quick if you don't care about paying shit? Come on, man. Gasless.
So
a gasless chain, fam.
If I just take this like a totally different direction and we just steer the wheel back towards the custom Clonespiracy Edition Genesis Season 1 kicks, I mean, we got more people on the stage here. Let's say we put out an effort to literally customize kicks with lime instead of red. Is anybody immediately interested? Because I'm doing it 100%. But if we can push more volume towards the customizers, we can get a bigger order in to actually make the whole job, more appealing for every customizer who decides to help us out on this one. Very preliminary. We have many moons until final orders and all of that. We got to get the sneakers in hand first, and then we got to figure out logistics after that. But like Johnny has said, they have never lost a pair of shoes when they're doing customs for clients, like high-end everything, best manufacturing, the most bespoke shit from a sub-community within a sneaker customizing digital collectible art project. And why leave them red? Let's make them lime. That's just the quick plug. Kind of curious what the people's thoughts are. And just to kind of spur this discussion forward, we put a tweet out last week, Jem, with the Photoshop skills, and we captioned it Photoshopping Sneakers on Icons. If you know, you know. Benoit was like, yo, that's like, I should just read it. It was iconic, though, because he said how Artifacts started, and now look where we are. So, like, that is how Artifacts started, everybody. They photoshopped sneakers on Kanye and Elon at a party, and everyone was like, oh my God, what are they wearing? What are those? And it's just kind of funny because, like, they are sneaker, regens, I'll call them, because they're pushing the creative ecosystem forward. And, like, that's exactly what I intend to do, with Johnny's help and really the whole team behind the scenes here to push customs forward on Season 1 drip. But floating the fields at least 6 months in advance. Speechless. That means I nailed it.
Wait. Because I was just a little bit confused. So, customizing the Season 1 Genesis so that it lowers the supply more. Is that the plan here? Because I like that.
Pretty much, Kuro. I can guarantee that I will reduce that supply by at least one pair of physical shoes because I'm going to turn them things lime, bro. Black and lime. So literally your bags are going to pump.
I'm hesitant personally to customize my Genesis. I'm going to leave all of them as is, but I think they look fucking dope with lime in that picture. What if everybody bought black Air Forces like Presto's favorite shoe and then customized just black ones? Maybe I can jump on that train.
See,
but I want to
that's
keep my Genesis
But
by
like they wouldn't
myself.
have an NFC chip in them, so like they wouldn't really fuck, you know.
Well, maybe even I've got white Air Forces too that would look dope with lime as well. But I'm so scared to customize my Genesis. That's just me, honestly. They were a gift from Bayron, and I'm not touching them, bro.
Yeah, dude, you'll have to come talk to me first. Yo, that's actually a good idea, though, Jack. Take a little hybrid approach, and we can just move forward with customizing some AF1s now. Regulars. No chip. I know Presto won't be happy about it, but brother, we'll get him in there. Dad, let's play again. We could probably put a chip in there, too.
Maybe I'll just like cut the chip out of my Murakamis, and I'll just put them on like a plain pair of all white skis, and then like I could just say that these are custom 101.
Genius.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Zayd was saying that he was going to be doing something to the Air Force Ones once he gets them. I can't remember if it was the Murakami drip or which one it was, but that would be pretty incredible to see more of the Air Force Ones get some of the artists in the space to kind of add their own flair on top of the shoes, which ultimately kind of gives it more of a rarity factor, you know.
How fun would that be, Anya, if we got different sub-communities to work up customized customs of the season ones to then release like almost like a community challenge, not even in like a real way, but like a fun way. I think that would be dope.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. I don't know how many people would be interested in doing it, considering the low numbers of the shoes as they are, but it would be incredible to see some of the artists, like maybe a mix of some of the artists that have already collaborated with Artifact in the previous season with the space trips, but also other artists in the space that have that didn't get the opportunity to do the space trip collab or have since then kind of risen up in the sphere as being, you know, maybe a well-known or well-loved creator, most especially within the clones, because we have so many creators now that are just, you know, our go-to stars in the ecosystem. So that would be really incredible to see more of that done.
I just think it would almost like, you know, it sends that statement too. It's like that's what this is about. That's the origins of this entire space from day one is the people that work on the Nikes, that work on the customs. And like this is almost a way for them not to have to sell something that isn't, you know, branded per their guidelines or whatever, because this would just be a community of people commissioning an artist to do some work on a piece of property that individual already owns. And it's like I just think it's a beautiful little way to support the people that Artifact used to be as well as who they are today. It really blends those two worlds, and pays homage to like the OG customizers of, you know, the early 2000s, the before 2020, because like customizing and owning assets, that's not new. People have been owning assets for years, owning custom assets for years. And it's like I always think about it as being this new innovative thing, but it's like no, like they did this in the physical space for many years. They just didn't have a matching digital equivalent. So as we progress forward, I think it'd be really dope as the digital, the physical, the groups of people from then and now kind of blend this whole experience to then deepen the roots of this whole culture. So if anyone in the space is interested, just keep your eyes out. Just think about it.
Yeah, 100%. If any of the artists are listening currently, or if you have connections, like I didn't even think about this, but I would be so keen to have my Angel Air Force Ones with some like Zwist clouds like with on those. Like, oh, I would die for that. Would be absolutely amazing. Granted, I only have one pair, but I would still sacrifice my only Angels like to get some timeless like piece of art by a creator that I love here in the ecosystem.
Anya, you might have just FOMO'd Gem into Angels.
That this sound. I mean, because like the I can just imagine like how pretty it would look on that little panel, that see-through panel on the side of the Angels with some clouds. Like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, we do that.
It's like maybe there's a way to even like, make that repeatable too, to do it at scale and in some way via the customization world. Just a thought. You can always do the one-on-one by hand as well.
Add it on your website. Order form. Request. Put your artist down.
Who's playing Fortnite?
No one. No one.
Add me right now. Let's run duos right the fuck now, my guy.
I'm dropping a new game right now, babe. With my son here. That's why I've been on mute. Yo, what's going on? People are forgetting to forge? God, people are rich. They just don't pay attention to their NFT wallets. That's what's going on. They was like, oh, the gas is high. That's not why they're doing it. I'm like, yeah, right. No one's walking away from a shoe. Like, well, the price is going to go down. I'm like, well, I don't think it is because they're not at their wallets. Like, they're not even there to, like, weight it. Fuck. So,
what do you guys think? Like, what if these people don't forge? Does it just make these physicals more rare? Or does it just waste part of the manufacturing with, like, let's say they expected to forge 90%, Like, does that just, do their items go to waste? Or are they just, like, not even being produced, like, in bulk yet?
Presto.
Like, what do you guys think about that?
It's pure profit, dude. If they don't forge, the order doesn't go in, and the material quantity doesn't get purchased, and then the production time isn't planned. So if they don't forge, it is pure profit to Artifact's bottom line, which then they can take and reinvest to deliver this project's the next steps. And like that's why I think them extending the forge window it's amazing because there's zero upside for them to do so. It's only upside for the community in that sense because like the less people that forge after they literally already paid, the cost to bring these goods to the physical space and then they choose not to, it's mind blowing. And then you look at it from a rarity structure, from a total number, from a max supply, et cetera, and it's just like, it's a win-win for really everybody. The less people that actually forge, except for the people that don't forge, because like these things are beautiful. Comp, what up? I see that hand. I know you probably have somewhere to be in like a minute ago too.
No, I moved it to 7, dude. But anyways, I got rugged while everybody was talking. I got a phone call. I apologize. Probably missed some good shit. Here's the thing: is I always question how could they miss this forge or how could they miss this claim that's already been paid for. But I myself have missed a free T-shirt claim in the past. I missed the Genesis T-shirt claim for season 1. Sometimes you go on vacation or you get too busy or you're working on something and you don't check in, or when you do check in, you don't really like dive in to see what's going on. You can totally miss this stuff. I didn't have any money invested though in the season 1 Genesis T-shirt claim. If I had $400 or $500, $1,000 in shoes I needed to forge, you better believe it's going to be on my mind. So I don't know, man.
I agree. I mean, you got to think about it like why wouldn't you forge when the shoe? If you think about it, it kind of just doubles in price because you have this shoe, for example, that's $500. Now you have this physical, and if somebody wants the NFT with it, I'm not about to just charge them a premium for the physical. I'm charging you for that NFT too, fam. So I mean, I feel like people just haven't really wrapped their head around it. Or you're right, Compound. They're just not, they're not active. They're not really around on Twitter, or they just haven't really seen the news to be around their wallets and haven't just got to it.
Is Anya, maybe you can answer this question. When people are making accounts on artifact.com, those emails that are getting registered, are they being used as like a newsletter to push out information as well? Are we at that point? They can be, as like we grow. But it would be
Yes.
nice. It'd be cool to
Yeah.
be able to check the blockchain and see all the unforged ones, and then cross-reference that to the artifact account emails that have not forged, and send a reminder. I'm sure as more people sign up for artifact.com,
we've done our part.
It'd be easier as well.
Artifact's done a great job of sending out announcements. They extended the forge, which arguably was to the, which congrats to the community for not like complaining about that, because like back in the day when we were savages, we'd be like, oh no, we want it all for ourselves, don't be pushing that shit back, blah 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 blah. So like it all makes sense, and now Artifact provided due warning, and we move on. So it's a beautiful thing. It's unfortunate. They're beautiful shoes that'll go unmade, but we'll do it. It is what it is.
It's like art that's not getting made. It's so sad to see. Like I want to see these things out there. The more people out there wearing them, the more brand awareness, the more it helps my bags, But I get it. The less supply is also better too.
It's okay, Compound. Some crazy tinfoil hat people are going to be cutting up the Genesis to like modify them, so it should really pump anyone's bags with Genesis.
Anybody who cuts these shoes up should be put in jail instantly.
I bet Johnny's
Straight to
itching
jail
to get his hands on a pair.
Dude, get that dub, Baron. Dance on them, flex on them. Drew, welcome to the stage, man. How are you? What are you thinking today?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, definitely sad about these not getting forged. I do think there's a disconnect in between just seeing all that stupid FUD that came out when like people were saying renders didn't match whatever the prototype. I think there's just people who have these who bought the NFT maybe to flip, or they wanted an artifact thing and they don't understand what they are, or sneaker culture in general. Like you could flip most of these for way over what they're minting for now if you just forge it. So even if you didn't want the shoe, you could profit. And I don't fully understand why you wouldn't do that. I think either they've like you guys said have left their computers for a long period of time, which I don't understand that either, or they have been waiting to flip this and they just have never checked that it's being forged. And I think that even on the site there's some confusion, not amongst like us, but because it says forge starts in September, since that was for the other digital stuff. But honestly, like, I would love to see more of these out there. At the same time, I'm kind of on the wavelength of, I don't know, it's a little selfish, but like the less these get made, the more each one is valuable. So, I mean, I just have one pair, but you know, for all of us that do have them and do forge them, the less they get made, I guess, does make them more special. But yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame.
Totally. Well, it's like, Tavi actually brought up a really good point with the material that's on the demons. It's like the material itself is basically crease resistant because it's already kind of crackly and cracked and stuff like that. It's like, maybe I will rock the demons and then keep, the future to be Genesis customs, like elite status. I put those on the wall and wear them to like, the Gaussian event of the future kind of thing. I break them out once every 3 years kind of deal. But it's like the demons, I could get behind rocking the demons kind of frequently. It's those flowers that I'm like, I don't know if I can take them out. I got to take them out. Just win.
And just one more thing. So I have friends who like resell, or I went to like some local resale shops because I was really trying to just get people to buy these. I talked to homies like, yo, just give me the cash. I'll forge it. You can send it to your email, get it through your address. People just don't want to wait till October. They're like, bring it back in October and I'll pay whatever for that. I'm like, it just doesn't work that way. Like this resale shop wanted the Murakamis and they're like, yeah, for that price for sure. But when is the shoe coming? I said, October, I think. And so they just don't get the concept, even if they want them and have the money. I don't know.
You know, they're probably gonna get it more when October comes and the Murakamis are 3x for the physical because whoever owns it gets to put their own price on it, right? So, I mean, they'll definitely get the concept after they see the first forge. Let's put it that way. Then once these guys are hip and they understand it, there's no way anybody misses a second forge, especially if it's kicks or any hype shit.
I don't know. Earlier today, somebody came into the impromptu bad space, and they were from Dot Swoosh, and they're looking at clones. So that was really, really cool.
That's where this is going too, Kuro, is as the Our Force One campaign launches, as people are choosing New Wave, got a post or Classic Remix. My mind is set on New Wave. I already know what I'm choosing, so it's like New Wave just jumps into my mind. But as people pick Classic Remix or New Wave, they're gonna be like, okay, this is dope. I now own a digital Nike collectible. Like, okay, what else? What can I do? What else is there? And that's like, oh, yo, there's this entire ecosystem. We got eggs that we think are kind of like Pokemon-esque, and we got shoes that are going to have questing, and there's hubbed versions, which I think the timing on the hubbed claim is actually perfect because the dot swoosh stuff is going to happen. People will come in and say, yo, how do I get a CIRL? How do I participate in these quests? And maybe a couple actually get the opportunity to then participate in these quests with kind of the community that's been waiting to participate in these quests. Just exciting times. What up, Comp?
What's up, guys? Thanks for respecting the hands. So yeah, earlier, like Kuro said, a young lady did come into Bad Take the morning sesh, and we've always talked about how Dot Swoosh is going to onboard the people who are motivated enough to find at this point, right? That to find that bridge and cross over into Artifact. And there's this clip that I want to pull out of that space where she said, yeah. So I got my Dot Swoosh, and that's like what led me to you guys. I wanted to come find CloneX from Dot Swoosh. And she was in there asking all these questions. It was super cool. There's a good clip of it. I think she found Prez on Instagram, and then Prez was like, yo, check out Artifact on Twitter. And there was this whole like path that she went self-motivated to come find CloneX is on Twitter, Artifact, all this stuff. So we knew that would happen, but it's going to be those motivated individuals that really, really want to dive into the ecosystem. It was cool to see.
Is that swoosh on ETH? Or like, what is that even on? Because I remember when I got mine, I was confused as fuck.
So you got it.
It's on Dragon Chain. Have you heard of it?
I don't know. It sounds pretty sus.
Dragging these nuts across your face.
Yeah, boy. Fuck yeah, I like that.
No, it's Polygon.
Like
that? You totally tried to set up. He tried to set up a dragon reference earlier too, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" I'm not biting though.
Yo, okay, for real, like guys, stop fucking around. Stop messing around. We're trying to be serious. Presto, it is on Polygon.
It's on Polygon?
Yeah, and they have custodial wallets.
Man, I got Wikipedia.swoosh if anybody wants it. I don't really support Polygon, so.
It's
there's a marketplace coming out. Is that marketplace coming out in a couple months? They said. Is that the same time that Luxo's NFTs are coming out? The marketplace.
No idea how that timing's gonna work, Hemi. But currently, it is it is a Polygon custodial wallet solution. It is on beta Presto. That is an important aspect to keep in mind as they scale up. Maybe we'll see a swap soon. Who knows? Anya, I think Anya and then Prez, but I don't really know if it's the other way around. It's up to y'all to let us know.
Go, Prez, you got it.
Sure, you can go first.
No, so polite. No, I was going to actually pose a question. Because of the significance of the Air Force Ones in the ecosystem of Season 1, I'm curious what everyone's thoughts would be if they ended up just creating all of the shoes despite the mint of them.
I thought about this at some point, and I'm not completely against this idea. I don't think it's necessarily that bad. I feel like we have, like, as people who are forging these shoes, we've kind of collectively already agreed or accepted that, like, the numbers where they are now is what they'll be. And anybody who doesn't mint would just be a bonus on top of that. But I would maybe be okay if, like, Artifact kind of withholds the unminted supply and then kind of like gives them out, maybe ideally as, like, say, prizes to the community, or like to VIP or to influencers. I think that would be doable. As long as, like, the physical supply doesn't outstrip what's available out there for the tokens to back them up, right? Because they need to have, like, an on-chain token you can link them to. As long as they don't, push that number, I'm okay with it. But I'm sure other people would object.
And it's interesting. I'm personally on the object side more so, only because this is the bed that was made, and we got to lay in it, kind of thing. But that's just me on that. I think the shoes are dope, and if done the right way, it could be a really cool thing for the ecosystem. But I just feel like everything has been, predefined as it is now, and people are making so many choices based off current data that I don't know, going one way or another with the total supply could rub some collectors potentially the wrong way. Presto, what do you think? And then we'll hit Drew.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think another cool way, just another thing to add to that would be to have them forge them all anyways, at like a average amount per size, and then give everybody who didn't forge them, who owns them, another opportunity to collect some way, somehow. And if those people don't meet that deadline, then, that giveaway sounds legit as fuck. The only thing is they won't have the NFT to go with it. And that's their whole motto, like, one to rock, one to stock. So,
Yeah, now that you mention it, they need to be linked to the forge token, and if you didn't forge them, there's no forge token in existence. So, you know what? In that regard, I'm not sure if I would be happy with there being, like, more shoes than there are, like, forge tokens out there. So I think I might take back what I was saying. I think we might in fact need to stick to it. And there's also, like, a dynamic here that I really like. I like the fact that it's, like, somewhat high stakes. I like the fact that, like, if you don't come through with the forge, you lose it. If you're not dialed in and you're not doing things kind of like according to the schedule, I really don't see anything actually wrong with, like, punishing people for that. It should be done in a way where, I don't know. It's just it's more exciting. It's more when you kind of up the risk, it makes the whole, already a risky kind of environment even more exciting. So I just think it's all part of the meta that we engage in when we buy and flip and forge these things. So I definitely see an argument both ways.
Yeah, what are you kind of thinking, Drew? And then we'll hit Hemi.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, already as they stand, even if they were to forge, even if each one was to forge out, these are some of the rarer Air Force Ones to hit market in a while. Like, especially the high end ones, those are amongst some of the rarer Nikes that are not the sub 100 ones. So, I mean, it's already really rare, but I'm almost of the mind of this is a learning lesson almost for people who did sleep. Not that I want them to be, like, punished, but, like, there was a lot of time. There was a lot of us and other people kind of getting the word out. I saw some great tutorials. I've seen a lot of people post, myself included, like if anyone needs this who does know about MetaMask or anything, I will personally walk you through or whatever. So I think it's a lesson, and I think once the hype gets out there, or if these get they've already been seeded with like LeBron. If someone sees Travis in one of these, then everyone's going to want them, and it almost should reward the people who did Forge, and there will be more Forges in the future, and people can then really make sure that they know how this works, and I think they will. I think the FOMO of this, when people realize that they could have gotten them, will force people to learn how to do this, and that's a great onboarding kind of mechanism, even if that sounds a little cold-hearted, but yeah.
No, I think it's great, Drew. I mean, a balance of this space really is finding the balance between what is too, quote, cold-hearted and what is, fair and logical. And, just on that point, let's go to Hemi first, and then I want to throw it back to something else.
Yeah, I just want to know your guys' thoughts on the future of like the way that it's being done right now, where you're getting these airdrops of or whatever it is, but you got to wait a couple months or whatever it is until you got to actually forge, and then some people just forgetting about them, or there's a lot of rich people here, which usually means a lot of busy people here, so they don't really have the time or whatnot to be forging. So they've got a lot on their mind, they're forgetting about it. Just with going forward, what do you guys think would be the best thing, like I suppose with the marketplace too, but just personally, I think like the way it's getting done now, we had to wait and like then have to forge, like because there's a lot of pairs like left over, like a lot. Rather, like you know what I'm trying to say. So just wondering, what do you guys think? Like, do we continue with how we're going now? What do you guys think the best place is? Or like, I suppose the marketplace will help, but I'm just interested in what you guys think.
Yeah, I think we optimize down timeline wise and efficiency and amount of time between steps kind of as we progress here. And we've seen the team do forging events in different ways on different timelines with different final results. And I think they're still figuring that out transparently. But what's up, Anya? Great question, by the way.
Yeah, so I think I have like two different things. So adding on to what Hemi said, is that I think that the team has gone through, since November and the original season 1 mint happened, that the lesson learned through that, and with everything that happened with probably Ramoa, and also with some of the other collaborations that we had announced and that the tasks have not been completed quite yet, is that I think there's more of a shift happening to, once the mint is happening, the forge happens at the same time, I think is most likely the route that they'll be going with in the future. And that, like, if it's not ready, then it's not ready, like, to be announced. So which I hope, from a personal standpoint, that's what I would prefer. I know that there are different business strategies with the way that they had gone about it with the other things, but I think there are probably better ways to go about it for just as like on the consumer side, and as a collector, because it's keeping track of those things, especially if you are involved in a lot of different communities. It can be really difficult to say, like, oh, the timeline for this is here, and then you've got a whole schedule that you've got to follow. If you are that involved in the space, especially of like forging physical items for other communities, and then so to touch on also with the previous topic as well, regarding the shoe. So sorry, I'm going to bring myself back. Oh, so what I was going to say was, because season 1 is coming to a close. And so because the shoes are the last thing to be forged out of season 1, I'm curious that since it's completing, if the pre-forge NFTs basically don't have a purpose at this point, And let's say, sorry, lightsabers are getting turned on around me. Hold on a second. If the pre-forged NFTs, if they decide to do something else with them, in place of where they currently are, which is they'll never be used again in the future, then does that change some of the idea of, oh, but they missed on the forge, or to some of that extent? I apologize, I missed some of my thought because I've got a baby around me. But any discussion beyond that, I'd love to hear thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of want to open it up. I'll just write my thoughts on a note here, but let's go to Prez first. But yeah, great questions, Anya.
All right. First off, I think this whole unforged problem is getting dramatically overstated, okay? First off, the forge isn't over yet. And even if it's snap ended right now, we're still close to about 80% forged across most DNAs. It's not that big of a deal for what people I think are making it out to be. For all we know, we're going to see a rush of forges toward the end, and there's going to be limited damage to whoever left unforged at the end. So let's not, it's not too bad if we kind of consider it. You got to consider the portion that are left. Some of those people are still waiting for the last minute flip. Those guys, people who will either forge at the last minute or they're looking to trade hands at the last minute. So there is a number of them that are, active, but just not quite forged yet. So let's just kind of wait to see where the dust settles before we draw any conclusions. And there's reasons for why people would not forge right now. Like I said, flip is one thing. People were low on gas. I heard other people reporting that like, I need this much for gas. Damn, I need to transfer from Coinbase, but that's going to take an extra couple of days. So this could be just a bunch of people who are cutting it close. There could be snipers waiting to kind of scoop them up for cheap in the closing hours. These things could all explain why the numbers aren't like kind of fully minted out yet. Let's kind of wait to conclude. But also, Anya was saying, should we make any consolations for people who remain unforged? Should those pre-forged tokens see like similar benefits as like say forged tokens will when it comes to like the inventory app and other wearables and maybe other utilities? I don't know, man. I like this idea of like, if you didn't forge, it's like you messed up, I don't want to find reasons to be like, oh, let's baby these people. Let's baby people who messed up, or let's try to engineer like little consolatory functions for these things. I'm not into that. I like the idea, like I said earlier, that this is high stakes, that there are like risks to this, and if you're not plugged in, I think it should be punishing. I think there should be a market function that punishes people who are inattentive, because these things are worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. You really shouldn't sleep on things like this. I don't think it's too much to ask. Not when Artifact puts on like a Tokyo billboard and LeBron puts the shoes on and the Instagram is tweeting this and all this. Like, what excuse do you have to be completely asleep for the 3 week long forge? There should be none. I say, if you're absent minded, you deserve to get punished.
It is
So
a bit
I'm with you.
Oh yeah, you go A before E.
Thank you. No, I was gonna say I'm with you, Prez. I think that the idea of letting people have their agency, being able to choose for themselves whether they want to forage, despite what the circumstances might be, if they weren't keeping track of it, if they weren't able to afford it at the time, or whatever it might be. I think it's a better route to go through, but I think maybe there's a little bit of hesitancy because of the significance of the Air Force Ones in this collaboration. I think it's pretty huge. And so that's kind of where it stops me. I think with the rest of the Season 1 collection, I would definitely be supportive of continuing to keep those pre-forged items unforged. But I think I hesitate a little bit with the Air Force Ones. But I definitely see the point, like, and what the significance of that could mean for, the space. And I think Artifact's always tried to do things differently. So I think it's good to get perspectives here and how everybody feels. So really interesting.
Kind of wanted to jump in on that too. Hemi, you can go ahead though if you got something.
Oh no, just well, my question was previously. I guess it is right about. I've sort of stayed away from the space. I wanted to get some shoes, but I've definitely kept an eye on what Artifact is doing, and I've noticed that they've, from get go, they've kind of tried a bit of everything, which is good to see that they're trying out everything and to see what works best and what not. Just with the marketplace coming, I think it'll be a bit easier. Me trying to get my sneakerhead friends on board. A lot of them have been keen, and they said they'd sort it out themselves, but then they've just given up because they can't be bothered, and it's just another reminder to this. Yeah. No, it's good moving forward. It's inevitable that these season one, these are grails. So, like everyone's saying, if you want to get them, you'll have to get them later down the track. And I don't think they'll be, on the floor. And if they are, it's whatever. But hopefully it is easier going forward.
Well, I think it all kind of comes back down to, who's active, who's paying attention, who's playing by the rules that were defined at the time of Forge, which really was, buy the digital now, you're paying for the physical. Down the road, we'll open up a forging event. And once that happens, that's when you actually get to order your physical pair. And that was kind of what I would say the ecosystem's understanding of the Air Force One mint was, or the season one Air Force One mint was. And these are immaculately, ridiculously cool, collaborative grails that are statement pieces of a creative team like Artifact collaborating with Nike and Takashi Murakami as a physical piece of history. Like, these are artifacts of the next 50 years of what Nike's going to be doing via Dot Swoosh and what Artifact's going to bring with this digital first mindset. I mean, these are crazy, crazy, crazy cool. And if people aren't forging them, that's on the person more so than the team, in my opinion. If we wanted to get if we wanted to talk total supply and how many people actually forged based on how many people could have forged, how many people had that opportunity to, I think that is a statistic that becomes, a point of reference based on the drop mechanics chosen. So if the goal is to get sneakers on holders' feet and get holders out in malls, walking around, being like showcasing these things, the drop mechanics got to take a little bit of a shift, in my opinion, on that. I know that gets a little bit off. That's why I kind of wanted to hear what the rest of the space thought too. Prez, I see that hand. What up?
I mean, Anya touched on it, and I'm getting the kind of impression here that internally the Artifact team has discussed this. I was talking to the mod Felon in the Discord, and he also had something similar to mention, which tells me that what they are contemplating doing is proceeding directly from mint to forge. So kind of doing away with the whole pre-forged concept is something I think that's under consideration. So the idea would be, when you mint immediately, you're already kind of committing to the sizing and the shipping address of the item. There's no token to flip that you later forge. They did something like this for the CIRLs. The CIRLs, except for the hubbed option, where basically you picked your size and shipping address right out of the gate. I do think that in order to kind of alleviate, especially these, like if the main concern for the end user experience is delays and kind of timing, okay, you really tighten it up by skipping the forge thing. You kind of immediately check out, put your address in, and you order the product. And then you can bundle that with what Anya also said, which is they are not gonna release the mint too early. Like they'll probably have the items already like prototype done, ready for production, just need the order to come in. And so then when everything's kind of like everything's done, the product's pretty much at the end stage. Okay, you mint directly to forge, and that way like the order pretty quickly goes to the factory and gets dispatched to you in say 3 to 6 months, right? That would really tighten it up, and maybe that would improve things. The only downside to this scenario is I think there's a strong case to be made that like people want to flip, especially if you have like rare DNA. You know, if you're going to look at your rare DNA as something that gives you access to rare drops or rare mints, rare forges, you may not always want to like take physical delivery of them. You may just want to mint the pre-forged, flip the pre-forged for handsome profits completely on chain, and let somebody else claim the physical. You know, by having you like be committed to the physical and you got to take delivery of it and flip it in real life. That takes away, I think, some of the attraction of having one of these tokens that like prints stuff strictly on chain for you to flip, if that makes sense.
And like just kind of building on that point too, Prez, when the CIRL hubbed option came out, we loved it. I think as an ecosystem, trying to separate out all of the different emotions that were happening at that time from a pure collector, from an on-chain flipper, from a whatever standpoint, we loved the CIRL hubbed because that is the team, that is Artifact basically saying, hey, we can then move forward by forging those sizes, by manufacturing those sizes, and then we're going to keep the address on a TBD, to be determined mindset, which is almost like Nike is gonna, or Artifact is going to hold our physical sneakers for us for a period of time until we have to give them the address when they're ready to ship, and then they have to get shipped out and distributed at that point, which, you know, that takes the physical side away from the Web3 native collector that wants to just do things on chain, do things on the digital side. And then that also opens things up for the person who wants the physical product. Um, yeah, I personally liked
I
it.
would call that like more like a hybrid model, and that's kind of what I was getting at yesterday in the Discord. Maybe the solution is the better one for the end user experience is to kind of go direct to forge. But in order to leave other people a bit of room, maybe doing this hub thing or like giving people the option, like a hybrid model where people can either directly forge to the address or kind of collect more of a hub token, and that still gives them room to kind of flip and speculate on the digital, right? I just wouldn't want to remove the digital element completely, right? Because I feel like that's part of the fun and excitement and speculation is like you mint it, you forge it, or you mint it and you got the pre-forged token, and you know that can go on secondary, and then you have a bit of time to kind of sell it high, buy it back low. You know, that's kind of the fun versus you know, kind of committing to going directly to the digital route. And you know, there might be like a great deal of like invest, like, you know, if people's concern is to pump the clone prices, the prices of like the floor clones, like, you know, you might attract more investors by being like, oh, these things drop like digital vouchers that you redeem for shoes that you can easily sell versus, oh, these clones drop shoes you're forced to take delivery of physically before you can actually flip them. I think that like just it's a little more attractive maybe to more investors, especially people who aren't like shoe heads, sneaker heads, or sneaker flipping people. You know, maybe they're going to be more excited about, oh, you drop these coupons for these shoes that sneakerheads want. You know, maybe that has a wider appeal. But I understand there's a need to kind of balance all these elements.
Well, so in that distributing the access that a specific collectible provides, that is, you know, OG Artifact. That is how they went about it with the pigeons and the mint discs and the things that gave you that access, the pre-sale items that gave access. I think doing that in a coupon format, uh, in a way that's very clearly laid out, could be a really cool thing to consider, because that would allow the holders who want the sneakers to then forge the sneakers right away, which can then start everything after that. But it also allows the people who want to distribute their access to others to be able to distribute, whether that's trade or sell or whatever it might be. It just unlocks that option for the collector, especially for those who have, you know, 100 clones. It's like maybe they don't have a sneaker store or a warehouse to store everything, and they'd really love to just distribute that access that they have. um, what are you thinking, Baron?
Um, I think I like the ideas, you know, for going forward. I think for this collection, you got to be pretty careful to if you decide. I would be, Prez was kind of like emphatic about what I took away as I sat here and listened was that it's like, look, we've been clear about this. We've announced the deadline. We've pushed off the deadline. We've been delayed, prior to that. Like, for me, I've been put a ton of a lot of money into shoes at the time of forge and clothes. Kept the shoes, kept the clothes, and now I'm forging, and I spent a fuck ton of time doing it. And if we're just going to open the door back up for people that didn't do it, it's to their benefit. I'd be better off leaving these as a digital and not tying up my capital in them. And if I knew that I could go buy them in the future and I could get them then, I'm not in a rush to get these things on my feet, not 20, however many of them, all in the same size. It's just, I understand why that I say that this should be certainly guideposts and notes that for how we do it in the future. But if any redistribution of these shoes beyond it would have to be you'd have to completely redistribute it. You can't just open it back up to the people that hold it in their wallets. That's completely unfair to the people who went and did this first. You take the remaining collection and you got to give some sort of first right of refusal or benefit to the people that forged the first time around. Just like people, it's the same thing as a company. It's like, it's if you were a first round investor and we do round two, the round one investors get a right to the allocation and the number of shares that they had before, so they don't get diluted. And then round two, and then it's open to whatever's left over is opened up to, those people. And it wouldn't be based on whether, arguably it wouldn't really be based on whether you had an unforged token that you missed. Like, I would say that those tokens are worthless in my eyes. And if the team wants to do something with the rest of these shoes, they have to somehow, it has to be a redistribution in my mind, and there has to be some bent that benefits those who were in round one. Otherwise, what's the point of collecting? What's the point of going out and finding rare stuff? What's the point of, that's just where I'm coming from. So that's my take. And I love the idea of direct, you get the physical and the digital at the same time, or you get, they're more time close together. Like, a lot of the ideas for the future are great. I think that if we become a project that goes back on everything that we said we were going to do, it's like that just opens up the playbook for well, they said they were going to do this, but the last time they said they were going to do something, they didn't do it. So we don't really know. Like, you want to create a communications freaking nightmare, you start going back on your word. And so I don't think, and I know it's not the team's intent to go back on any word, right? That's certainly not the case here. So I would I would be very careful. And I would also encourage you all to say, look, we don't have to make any decisions right now. It is what it is. And, unless it's tied into some gamification, aspect that I don't know about, well, then you got to tell the community about that at some point, and then we can, and we maybe be more okay with it. But at this point, if it's just a shoe, rarity means a lot. They were we paid a fortune out of the gate for them. Typically, in the collecting, you'd pay retail, and then it would get more expensive as it, because it was a limited edition. But you don't charge more for because it's a limited edition. These are charged more because the quality is so good, but it's still a limited run. And ask any sneakerhead about go ask Aunt Ben about when Nike redrops all their shoes. It drives sneaker collectors nuts. It ruins the value of pre-existing models, no matter what anybody says.
Tell Don Julio, I know you've been listening, and I know you come from the sneaker background. Do you have any thoughts on the topic at hand?
Yeah, from a sneaker standpoint, Baron is he's right. I mean, every time another sneaker comes out, it definitely drops the value of the original pair somewhat. So I mean, from a sneaker standpoint, I feel like me personally, I feel like Artifact is being very selective with how they're doing things right now because Air Force One is like a real classic shoe. And they didn't have to start there. And then it's funny how that swoosh is also starting with Air Force One. So it seems like it's like all part of a bigger plan in retrospect because they also have the Jordan logo, the Converse logo in the pod, correct? So I mean, and I seen that Nike was planning on. I seen in the video they did like they had Air Max 90s. They had a couple other shoes. So I mean, I feel like right now they just starting with a classic just to start the run to see how it's gonna go later on. And then from a sneakerhead standpoint, definitely buying a digital and turning it into a physical is something that sneakerheads are not even used to and they don't even comprehend yet. So if you buy them now and you get them now, once everybody figure out what's really going on, I mean, you're gonna be able to price point whatever you want at that point.
And just kind of building on Baron's point too about what was it? It was kind of if these have something else going on that's beyond a shoe, and like the community kind of needs to know that the people who are minting those at the time of mint, they kind of need to know that they kind of need to have all of the information up front to then make an informed decision. And I think that based on the information that this community had at the time of forge, that is really a direct result for how many total sneakers from each collection were actually forged at that point. Like I passed on the Genesis pair because I was like, I don't want some black Air Force Ones with some red leather. And then it's like, we learned more about the materials. We learned more about what's going into it. I'm like, yo, the material is actually dope. And like, I like this sneaker. So then I got it. And it's like way back then, maybe I would have looked at it differently if I had that information at that time. So I think it's all really based on an information thing. And it's kind of like our numbers are where they are at this point based on the decisions that this ecosystem made based on the information that we had available to us. And if 80% of those Air Force Ones are forged and the remaining 20% reduces that supply of physicals even further, I don't think that the pre-forged should really have any additional access personally. We kind of hit a lot of different answers. I want to give other people on the stage the first shot at Anya's excellently asked question, and anyone who's listening below. If you've listened to this whole thing and you're like, hey, I really like parts of Barron's, parts of Don Julio's, but that dude on the Lime Eye thing, he has it all wrong. Like, jump up here and tell us. Like, I'm not personally going to be offended, just so you know. Like, this is a community space meant to get uh, decentralized viewpoints on topics and on questions, because that's how a think tank operates, everybody. So if you have an opinion, please jump up, please share. Like, this is open for that, but if you have a dumb question, you already know. Anya, take it, Prez.
I just wanted to point out that this is fundamentally a kind of crypto-oriented space where we are trying to kind of honor the original intention of the contracts that we deploy on chain, and one of the main ethoses of the space is hard caps on the currencies in terms of their supply, and how you're never supposed to renege on this deal that you make with your audience, with your user base. On the whole reason Bitcoin is because we believe that there's a 21 million coin hard cap that is never going to be in question, right? And we use the decentralized network to kind of enforce this supply and enforce the rules of the ecosystem, so to speak. And so I feel when you deploy assets like these shoes, these tokens, the original spirit is here's the cap, right? We're not going over this. And on top of that, we're going to deploy physicals to the real world that can be like audited against what's on chain. So you really do have some amazing insight into the supply. So I think when you go in there, you try kind of like breaking those rules or rewriting the original engagement. That really irks people. That really, I don't think, is up for a debate at all. Again, given that this is kind of a crypto-centric space where everybody's kind of scarcity minded, right? So you can't play with the numbers, can't fudge those numbers.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't see a world in which it's well received personally, Anya. Even though
I was just going to point out there's another example in the world of luxury goods. This one is famous from Ferrari. If you're like a Ferrari enthusiast, you're aware that they love making limited edition models that number, one of 500, one of 1,000. But everybody who's into Ferrari knows that those numbers are almost always bullshit. That Ferrari somehow, kind of deceives the customer base, and like one of 500 really means like one of 2,500. That like the numbers are a lot of the times are like underballed, and that they keep the numbers tight to their chest. So like if you do try to like call their corporate office and you try to really track down what is the serialization of this model, how many have you actually made, they're very coy on it, and everybody knows that they kind of overproduce what they state. And I think that's probably commonplace in the world of like rares and collectibles. This is not even withstanding fakes. It's nice to be able to actually like break through that. It's nice to actually have stuff that's auditable, self-auditable on-chain metrics that you can kind of audit the supply against. And I think that's critically important. So what I would be most offended by is if I find out that like there's only like 300 forged AF1 tokens of a certain DNA. If I find out there's 310 physical non-sample supplies circulating in the world, I would be offended. That would be a problem. If people started showing up in the Discord or in the community saying, yo, we've got more physicals than there seems to be tokens to link them to, that would be a huge problem. So I think it's extremely important to always respect not the numbers, not just the numbers as we understand them to supply, but not to play any games with them and not to kind of tweak things. Because it's one thing if you mint and then they kind of shift the rules or the supply on you. That's also unfair, right? This is the whole issue with like, are you allowed to modify the 20,000 clones? Are you allowed to, change the metadata? This is part of that argument that people are kind of offended by, because when you first buy in, you're expecting the layout, the topography of the tokens distribution to be a certain way, and you don't want that shit to be changed.
How do we do, Anya?
This is great. I think it's really important to get perspectives and feedback about, the different theories. Like it's good. So it definitely gives some really good insight here. And who better to ask than the conspiracy spaces, right? Because you guys are all about the theories and things. So it's good. And I will also throw it to, because of the samples, like we've had a few people that have kind of come through the Discord or on Twitter and have just been like, why are these people getting these shoes? And they have to realize that the samples are not the same as the shoes that are coming out for the forge. Like there's a handful, if that, really, really rare amount of number. And they're samples, and they like it has it very clearly on the inside of the shoe that it says it's a sample, and and we've had very significant people receive those shoes, and so I don't want anybody to get it twisted that like we're just handing out shoes to random people. That's very thoughtful process that happens, and so for anybody that's like, I saw the shoe and it's physically out there, somebody has it already, and it's just a different process that happens with those particular shoes.
And Anya, just something that's kind of come up in the past and maybe peripheral discussions, past spaces, etc. It was kind of the idea of seeding samples of iconic drops like this one to this community, you know, the people that show up every day, to clones that are active on the timeline, as Compound puts it. Because like we're the ones that are going to be on Twitter tweeting these out, showing them off, more so than like, you know, directly hitting this core group of community. It's like seeding people in this ecosystem could be what I think it would be worth considering, I guess, is the thought, just from past discussions with people.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think it would be really awesome to see the community benefit in that way from all of the support and everything that they do. I think that there's a mix of, you know, obviously that there's got to be. Oh, I'm sorry. You're doing great. Sorry, we're fixing a toy. We've got tools out everywhere. So I think there's a mix of, you know, legal and a mix of, you know, security, and also making sure that, you know, that's the right move for the whatever the specific object is. And so I don't think it's a bad idea for the future. And you know, I know we have a good amount of things coming and lots of tasks to be closed. You know, I'm sure that it's probably dawned on the founders and the team, because most specifically because of the event in Japan that happened, where they were like, hey, like, these Murakami pills are going out to the community, and we want you to decide, you know, give us who you want to be, you know, be benefit here, to benefit here. So you know, I think the community has definitely made a significant impact for these last few months, on everything that they have done. You know, the conversations they've had and the moves that they've taken and the pivots that they've had to do and everything. So I definitely believe that will be a consideration in the future. You know, it will just be down to a lot of different factors, on to whether they can actually make that happen. So, but I don't think it's a bad idea for sure.
Totally. Just wanted to raise that point because I know it's come up with some people kind of in the past. Durs, welcome to the stage, dude. Have you been listening? Do you have thoughts? I just drank some water. I'm going to do it again. Durs, welcome to the stage.
Yo. What's up? I just got in. I just caught the end of that, and there was a delay for me connecting and disconnecting to the Bluetooth. So, yeah. I really like the pushback for a couple days for the Forge. Really like that. I do think going in the future that it's necessary to be flexible with this type of thing and not to make it like super open, but still like be reasonably flexible. Obviously, we know gas prices are insane, and when it comes down to people being able to like clear from the bank to the exchange and just like, you know, getting ETH in the wallet and getting everything set, sometimes when you try to do it last minute, it doesn't quite work out. And especially with gas the way it is, maybe people don't have enough loaded up, or, you know, maybe it gives us an opportunity to get. I think it's necessary, you know, going in the future. I think another thing, you know, just about season one, you know, we did have, you know, a week, I believe it was, to like to mint everything, and then another week to like potentially buy on secondary and then forge at the same time. And it does take longer than a week often, you know, for like ETH to clear into the, you know, if you're on Coinbase anyway, like it can take longer than that for, you know, more than a certain like $1,000 in ETH or something like that to like clear the bank. So it can be tough if you can't get in there on the first day. It kind of can get rough and puts you up to the deadline. I know there's like a couple things I wasn't able to get like a couple things because of that, which is not a big deal or anything, but you know, it's a good look going forward that everything got pushed out. I don't think there's any FUD on it. I heard some people saying like, oh, they weren't happy with like the percentage of the forge, but literally we were talking about that on a space, and then like a half an hour or an hour later or something, it was announced from the team. I'm assuming that they were talking about it, and then they heard us talking about it, and obviously, it makes sense. So at the end of the day, if it makes sense, it's the right move, and I think they made the right move ultimately on that. And going forward, it's a good sign that they're hearing us. You know what I mean? That's like the kind of communication I feel like that we want. That there's like a sign of communication. Like it doesn't all need to be like, whether they heard us or not, or they just knew that it made sense to do it. At the end of the day, those kind of things, I think, just go over well with it. And then when it comes up, everybody has an overall good sentiment about it going forward. And who's better a marketer of Artifact and what's going on than everyone who's into it and holding it and dedicating and believing it and supporting it and representing it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Durs. One follow-up question for you. So let's just say the sneakers that are pre-forged. Let's just say they forged those on behalf of those holders. They just pick a size and then they manufacture those additionals. Then they auto forge those NFTs for those people that haven't been paying attention. How would you feel about that?
Honestly, there's all I think I think that's fine if they auto forge an amount um dedicated to the amount of NFTs purchased, because people did, like, at the end of the day they did accept money for them, so I feel like they would have a right to make them. But at the same time, it's like it's on you to pay attention. There's enough window of time to pay attention. um I wouldn't feel about it one way or another. If they said whatever, they're not going to get forged, that's on you. I feel like that's fair. And I feel like if they forge a bunch of them, it's kind of fair, but it's also kind of like, then what are they going to do? Are they going to be stuck and held responsible for those pairs now? Are they just going to be? Is that going? I feel like that's not a sustainable thing. Like how long would Artifact be held responsible for like holding on and storing these extra pair of unforged shoes? But then again, they could make some headway into it and actually making them and then actually burning them in real fire and putting up like, yeah, uh, these didn't get, nobody claimed this one today, so we're gonna burn it, and now it's never gonna be made. And it could put the heat on some of these people to do it, if I'm being quite honest. But I do think that going forward, I think that the better move is to like put some kind of limitation maybe on the mint of these going out, and then just like figuring out a better system that works. Maybe there's less SKUs and enough for everybody to mint one, and then the second round you can mint two if you're there on time, or if you're in within a time window or whatever it is. Just like do it in a certain way that basically mints out whatever you want your full supply to be. I think it's a bad look later, like going down the line. It's not like I know that certain amount of these shoes are rare, but if they're not reaching like near the full potential of their mint out, it's like it's not a look that's good, and it's not really what represents like what's possible or whatever. I mean, like look at like the humans, like those are to me, like those are like the dopest, like one of the dopest ones. They have the biggest representation. They could have minted 20,000 pairs of those. The only ones that have a bigger representation would be the Genesis, and they just like minted out way less than they should. So it shows that like the demand versus the supply was really low, at least in that, you know, confined market. And I don't think it's representative of like what people are going to think is cool later down the line when we see physicals. You know, the sneakerheads are like not in it like you think they are at the moment. You know what I mean? Like Nike's not like resellers on StockX are not having a problem selling some of these sought after shoes for $350 a pair, and they came out with 250,000 or 50,000 run of them. So it's like I think I would like to see some kind of a different situation when it comes to what's available for season 2, maybe like less options overall, maybe more time to get personal funds up to it to know what it was, because I mean we didn't even know what it was going to be. Like, is this going to be something that like, is this going to be expensive, what's it going to be? We didn't really know what to expect going into it. And now everybody has at least like a more realistic expectation of what we think it's going to be as far as, you know, what it's going to cost us. I know, you know, I would think that we would need some time to, you know, get that funded. And I think that it would be good to have maybe like less options, but maybe options that that are like one or the other. You know what I mean? Like you can do a shoe or a jacket or something like that. You know what I mean? Where like one option cuts the other one off. That type of thing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the thoughts there, Durs. Either I got one more question, or we could wrap this space, kind of pending. The thought that's kind of on the back of my mind is, you know, if we want more physicals out there, how would everyone feel if it was, you know, they tweet one to rock, one to stock, every forged Air Force One is coming with 2? And what if they just doubled the supply of every single Air Force One, but then sent every holder, you know, double the pair of physicals? Would that be well received, or would that be not well received? And I'm asking that because, you know, that would change the total supply of the amount of Air Force Ones, but these are special, iconic sneakers, and the more of them that we can get out there in the hands of the collectors, you know, it could send a really cool message forward. I don't know how the math works on the MK drips and if that even is realistic, or if we would break the supply from what's actually realistic on those. So maybe that doesn't quite work. It just a thought, maybe on Genesis or the other DNAs for the ones that would still remain under their max minted potential. I don't know though. That kind of gets a little sloppy as I'm talking through it.
I mean, if that ended up being a thing, I don't know how anybody would take that as negative. That I think that would be way more than what anybody could expect. I don't think that should be the answer to, you know, remaining supply necessarily, but I don't think anybody would. I if you had anything negative to say about that, then what? Like, who would buy the shoes and then be mad that they got 2 pairs? Nobody would be mad about that in their right mind.
Oh, I think I don't want to interrupt you, and I apologize. I want to add on to kind of what you're saying as well. Is that I think there's also some precedent that's been taken within the space, which is the provenance of what we're doing here. And I think maybe some of that also gets thrown in with that argument. And so there's like, you know, this is the way it's to be done because it's been done this way before, and this is what we know and we love. You know, so if it's to be done differently, is it frowned upon because it's a provenance issue, or is it because it doesn't make sense from a Web3 standard point
I don't think it would be frowned upon in like it's like if everybody bought an art piece and then got a print in the mail and everybody got two, then everybody's receiving that same like dilution per se. But you're so it's like equal around. And if every person who forged, like they announced that there's no reason not to forge, right? I think that that's totally fair if that's the direction that they're taking. I think that they're taking on too much responsibility to hold back unforged items as like forged and selectability. I do think that's more reasonable in the future to get people to be more like imminent on grabbing something that you can buy it and select your size right away. I think that that's something that like puts the fire under us to get it during a time window and brings more gas to the fire of like us wanting to mint these things early on rather than in like the last day and to wait to the last minute. And give people like an ample, like, hey, there's going to be so many available in certain sizes and make it kind of reasonable. But I mean, I don't think that would ruin anything. Like, you have this for anyone to say that there's precedent that really holds any kind of ground in Web3. Like, they put a beard on a clone for LeBron James, and then some people were in uproar about it because they're like, oh, you can't change the metadata. Well, you can, and there's lots of projects that are built and marketed on the foundation that you can change the metadata. And there's issues if you can't change the metadata, right? If there's something wrong with, if there's an error, or if there's something legal that comes up later on and you can't change the metadata, then there's a problem. If you can change the metadata, then there's a problem solved. So like you're not going to make everybody happy with that, but I wouldn't see if two pairs. The thought of that is so crazy to me that has not even come up across my mind. But if that's something if them saying one to rock, one to stock, and that's what you're buying for, and that's supposed to be like some hidden like Easter egg for us, I think that would be just like the coolest thing in the like that would be absolutely like just mind-bogglingly crazy that they would do that and pull it off. Like I don't think that anyone could have any kind of a say because you're still keeping the same ratios for supply to demand or whatever. And the supply was created by the demand in the first place. So then you can go and actually go, if you're only bound to one pair of a shoe and then you get two of them, now you're wearing them. And to me, shoes and hats have always been, and trickling down outerwear have always been like that's the forefront of fashion. People are going to buy one pair of sneakers and wear them every day for 6 months typically. You know what I mean? That's typically what drives shoes as fashion. You're going to wear them. People are going to see them every day. If you're in a crowd, people are going to see your hat before anything. You can wear that every day. No one will say anything. You're not going to go wear a t-shirt every day. You're going to wear that t-shirt once a week. You know what I mean? Like a pop socket has more marketability than a t-shirt for a band because people take their phone out 100 times a day, and people will wear that t-shirt once every 2 weeks or once a month or something. So it's like, yeah, if people are going to see these things more, it gives more exposure. I just can't see. I can see people getting snobby about it, but I can't see that be like that's if that ends up being the case, I can't see that being like the meta for anyone as far as like will people get pissed off because they spent more than they normally would for a pair of shoes, right? We're talking about Tiffany and Dior prices for these shoes, and they got two pair, and people are going to be mad about it. Like, how much of an asshole do you have to be to do that?
I'm honestly just curious because this is a space I don't personally have a lot of background in. Prez, I know you had your hand up. I don't know if you're going the complete opposite way at Durs on this one. We're gonna get some heat on the stage, or you took that hand down though, bro. But I want to hear what you got.
Yeah, just really briefly. one to rock, one to stock was kind of like part of the original formula for the AF1s, right? Like you didn't just have an allocation of AF1s based on DNA, an allocation of 2 pairs. So they kind of already offered you that. Now, with that said, listen, if like the forge numbers were like around 50% for most DNA, so like everybody only half minted, I would say, yeah, there's an argument to be made. Maybe just mint out the other half and give everybody that ordered one, 2 of them. But we're not really there. We're really like close. We're getting close to 80%. We'll probably close it out around 90% minted. So I really don't think there's like that much reserve to go sending people an extra free one, let alone it's going to cost them more money. I just don't think it's that much of a not that's kind of a non-starter if you ask me. But if it was like closer to 50%, yeah, we could consider it. Some people would probably complain, but ultimately you're right. Like the proportions or the ratios would stay the same. I don't think. I think ultimately people would be like excited to get 2 pairs instead of one. That'd be sick. But again, because we're not looking at a 50% forge, I don't think there's really room to do this.
And when I was raising the question, I was kind of thinking like we would just take the total amount of people that actually forge and then double, and then airdrop or claim the digitals later, just as a pure thought experiment. Just because I'm kind of curious, I think the people receiving these shoes would rally, and like we would get more shoes on feet and people out there talking about it. But the drawback is the total supply and the provenance of who minted what in this community, and the DNA is determining supply. So there is a trade-off here. I want to throw it over to Baron, and then I probably got to go to sleep because the NyQuil is going to hit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even on the table, but my reasoning for saying, hey, if you're going to say you're going to close the forge, you got to close the forge, and you can't go back to these tokens, is because it's really not, you're not driving any value to the people who were here that did it first, right? So, and I said that if you wanted to reallocate the unforged shoes, you could do it, but that would make sure that there's a first right refusal somehow to those people who were participated. So yeah, I would be all for this idea in any form or fashion where you're rewarding the people that forged. And I mean, arguably the people that bought them originally from mint back and then held them, and I mean, it's like the whole quantity doesn't exist unless the people came out and forged the shoes. So the whole quantity is kind of arbitrary. Artifact could have come out and said there's 3 shoes per clone per DNA, so it's like if their desire, there's so few of these things anyways, it's like you're not gonna really affect the value by doubling anything. For my opinion, again, I think any redistribution of any unforged pairs has to involve the people that participated in this forge some way, somehow. Otherwise, I just think that's a harder precedent to come than to say, well, we want to get more on the street. We're just going to open this thing back up, and what are you going to do? Resell them? You're going to give them to the people that didn't forge. You're going to basically reward people that didn't pay attention to you. Like that is, I just feel like really a bad road to go down. And then I just don't see how that makes any sense, because what should have been done was we should have said, well, you can keep them as hubbed, and then I would have forged half of what I did and kept the rather hubbed, and then you could have classified all those as the unforged as hub, but we didn't do that. So, and I don't think we can make that announcement now. So yeah, I wouldn't be worried about provenance if you gave more shoes to the people that held, but I don't know that you all are interested in doing that. So that's my thoughts, Jack.
I appreciate it, everyone. Anya, any closing thoughts? I prefer not for additional questions because I think I'm falling asleep. Still recovering back here on mute.
Well, I don't have any other questions to pose. I think you should go get your sleep. And I think Bad Take Space is going on right now. So if anybody wants to continue this, I don't know what they're chatting about over there, but we can hop
Anya,
in and start
real
it all
quick, hey,
over.
do you know what the unforged numbers were on the close? Realizing that's a different situation because you didn't have to, these you don't have to pay for. But on the close, like, because I just ran all the numbers, like 25% on average. There's one at like 30, and that's the Alien, and maybe one other shoe that's at 30, maybe Genesis, unforged. But like, what were the percentages on the closed?
I don't think we were ever given the specific numbers on that, to my knowledge anyway. I have to go back
Yeah.
since that was completed back in November. So
Well, no, you don't. If you don't know the number off
I'll
the top
go
of your
I'll
head,
go
I just
through.
was wondering if we were like, if there's a, a similar weighting. You to figure that these numbers would be better, but maybe it's just a like doesn't matter whether people have to pay or not. If under this mechanism, 25% of people aren't going to forge whether they paid or not. It'd be interesting just to see the two. But anyways, Jack, thanks.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
compare and everything. I know that there is a pretty stark contrast, at least from my memory, because a lot of people were skeptical about the clothing like not having a Nike swoosh like on it. And so I think there were a lot of people that were maybe like upset and that they weren't really able to see the full, what is this going to look like before we made like a full
Because
decision
when
on
we
forging and
bought the
everything, which
clothes, we bought them and paid for, like, we didn't ever take our tokens and cash them in. No, we did. We had the tokens. They traded for a while, right?
yeah, well, I think so. I can't remember.
And then
what the
I just can't
timeline was.
remember if we had to pay at the time of forge.
No, you prepaid, Baron. You paid.
Right. So
you paid when you
it'd actually
minted
be
the unforged.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you paid when you minted the unforged, and then when you forged, all you did was put in your size.
So it's the
and
same
then they took care
mechanic.
of everything.
So it'd be very
Same
interesting to
mechanic.
know, okay, of the purchased NFTs, how many of those are unforged? The quantities arguably should be on OpenSea, right? But
Yeah, they should be, because that's the forged and unforged tokens that's going to have a number attached to it, and it could be publicly seen. So,
I'm just curious.
I'd have to see if that's all lumped in somewhere, or if I'm going to have to like make a spreadsheet by hand on that. But if I find it,
I'll
send it
do
to
it.
you.
I'm gonna look myself.
Let's we gotta have Jack go to sleep. Sorry, Jack. Thank you for having us.
No, actually, you have to stay up.
No, I'm just laughing because Baron said he's gonna make a spreadsheet.
Yeah, right, dude. I already have the notes written down on paper. I printed out the AF1 handbook and I just wrote out all the ratios, and I have my notes. Anya, you're the best. Jack, you're the best. Durs, great to hear from you. Boo, good to see you, man. Down there, I haven't scrolled any lower. Canoe, everybody. Yuka, I haven't scrolled any lower. So whoever's down there, we love you. And thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting Clonespiracies.
Good night.